Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Joey, and I wanted to make a quick video because Dana White did an interview today, and he basically confirmed that Francis Ngannou will be defending his heavyweight title against Derrick Lewis next in a rematch that I don't think anybody was really clamoring for all too much after that first fight. But, this might come as a shock to many people who were hoping for the Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones fight. If you watch the post-fight presser after Ngannou defeated Stipe Miocic at UFC 260, you could already see Dana White using, negotiating tactics, saying, "Does Jon Jones really want the fight? This and that." We've known that Dana White and Jon Jones in the UFC and whatever have been, having negotiating problems with Jon Jones for the last year or so. And obviously, Jones is going to want some type of pay boost for the Francis Ngannou fight, to fight for the heavyweight belt. That's a huge fight. Should sell a lot of pay-per-views. But it looks like the UFC is going to go the other way and do Francis Ngannou versus Derrick Lewis. And for me personally, I really wanted to see the Jon Jones versus Ngannou fight, and that was because you have the consensus light heavyweight GOAT in Jon Jones, who relinquished this belt, moved up to heavyweight, who I've wanted to see Jon Jones at heavyweight for so many years, and is going to potentially take on the scariest heavyweight champion the UFC has ever had. I just think the fight would have been super compelling stylistically, as well as the storyline for it. I mean, can Jon Jones and his well-rounded skills, would he be able to take out Francis Ngannou, who is, his power is just unrivaled. The only person with close to that much power would be Derrick Lewis. So just a stylistic matchup I would have loved, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I know the UFC was already trying to put this fight together, as in Ngannou versus Lewis. They were trying to put it together for UFC 263, but Ngannou said he needed more time to prepare, so it didn't happen then. My guess is they're going to probably throw it on, one of these cards coming up, as far as maybe 265, 266, somewhere around there, which would be August, September type area. But as far as which fight should happen, uh, it's conflicting for me because I've always looked at the sport and title shots based on merit, and it's hard to say that Derrick Lewis doesn't deserve a heavyweight title shot. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He beat Curtis Blades, who was, I think, the number 2 ranked guy at the time, and in spectacular fashion. KOs him in the second round with a beautiful uppercut after losing the majority of the fight up until that point. So it's just hard to deny he deserves a title shot. But meanwhile, on the other side, you have Jon Jones, who's the consensus light heavyweight GOAT, maybe even potential the MMA GOAT in general. You have him, who hasn't lost in years, moving up, but you have some things that are working against Jones. You have the fact that his last few fights haven't been super dominant. You have the PED violations in the past, which a lot of people are going to point to and say this, just this alone kind of disqualifies him from being able to do this. But man, I would have loved that Derrick Lewis. I mean, not the Derrick Lewis fight. I would have loved that Jon Jones versus Ngannou fight. But maybe, just maybe, we'll get Jon Jones get a heavyweight debut that's not for a belt. I don't know if Jon Jones is going to want that. And still, I don't know if Dana White and Jon Jones are going to be able to come to terms. So maybe we'll get Francis Ngannou versus Derrick Lewis, and we'll get Jon Jones versus a heavyweight contender. Jon Jones wins that fight and takes on the winner of Ngannou versus Derrick Lewis. But I feel like the time is now to make Ngannou versus Jon Jones. And I hate saying that because I know people look at that as a money fight, but I see that as a fight that has merit as well. Just on the totality of Jon Jones' career, the dominant performances he's put on, the winning streak that he's on, the fact that I know he's not a light heavyweight champion anymore, but he relinquished that himself, just last year. So I would just love to see the fight. Hopefully it comes together at some point in time, but who knows? Ngannou could go and get knocked out by Derrick Lewis. We never know. Jon Jones could go on to fight someone else at heavyweight and lose. So it could, that's why I feel like the time should just happen now. There's been too many times the UFC's had these grand plans and kind of deviated from them a little bit, and then something happens and ends up never happening. I mean, look how long people clamored for Anderson Silva versus GSP. Never happened. So I hope this isn't one of those fights where we're just missing for years and years and years, and it just ends up never happening. We always look back and be like, I wonder what would have happened if Francis Ngannou in his prime fought Jon Jones. And, I hope it isn't one of those instances. And also, you have the first fight between Ngannou and Lewis, and that fight was absolutely terrible. That's one of the worst fights I've ever seen. And Dana White said in the interview that, well, it can't suck twice. I mean, there's no guarantee. Both guys have literal nuclear power in their hands, putting guys to sleep left and right. And when you have that type of power on either side, guys are going to be nervous to engage, and that's what happened in that first fight. Derrick Lewis was scared to throw and get caught by Ngannou, and Ngannou was scared to throw and get caught by Lewis. So, it turned out to be a very boring fight. It had a lot of tension in it just because you could feel the energy, oh my God, is somebody about to get KO'd? But who knows? This could turn out to be a stinker. We could get 5 rounds more of what we saw, a couple years ago. But anyway, I just wanted to do this quick video. Leave in the comments and let me know which fight you preferred. Would you prefer to see Francis Ngannou versus Derrick Lewis, or would you prefer the UFC to do Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones? I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.